Hey, BookTube Sean here, and today I'm going to do my May favorites video. I said in my last favorites video that I was going to try to make this a monthly thing. So this is the things that I was enjoying in May that were not books. And I've already started working on the June list. It's only June 2nd as I'm recording this. So, first of all, I mentioned in the last favorites video that I had watched a movie, but I had technically watched it in May, and I'd be bringing it up in this video. That movie was What We Do in the Shadows. This is a vampire movie, but it's not your traditional vampire movie. Think kind of if The Office were a vampire movie. This is mockumentary style, and it is about these vampires who all live in a house together, and they are going to this ball with other undead creatures in New Zealand. The movie takes place in New Zealand. One of the guys in Flight of Conchords is kind of behind this movie and plays one of the characters. The director is the director of Thor Ragnarok. Who also plays one of the vampires as well. But it is hilarious. Oh my god. I learned about it from Stephanie, and that's what she read. She mentioned it on the Books in the Freezer podcast as one of the non-bookish things that she was enjoying. And I watched it, and I think I messaged her a couple of times that night as I was watching it. And then I watched it again the next day, and I don't really do that much anymore with things, but it was the next day or 2 days later, and I needed to watch it again. And just talking about it, I want to watch it again. I thought it was great. It was hilarious. Oh my god. And I learned and found out that they are making an FX series. There's going to be a television series on the FX network in 2019. Based off of the movie, so I'm really excited for that. But yeah, if The Office but vampires sounds at all appealing to you, check out this movie. You will not be disappointed. I even was using the GIFs from it for days afterwards. And speaking of Flight of the Conchords, I'm going to go into, because I only watched the one movie in May, because I don't watch a ton of movies. I used to, but I don't anymore. And some of the television I was enjoying in May, among the things that I also listed in my last favorites video, because those seasons continued on into May. A couple of other things that I started watching in May. I started watching, because I loved What We Do in the Shadows so much, I realized I had never really given the Flight of the Conchords a chance. So Amazon Prime has both seasons of that. So I went and started watching that. I'm in the second season now. So I've been enjoying Flight of the Conchords. It's better than I thought it was. Better than I gave it credit for a long time ago. Or maybe I just wasn't in the right frame of mind when I tried it when it first came out. Because I did watch the first episode back when it was a regular thing. And I didn't get that into it, but I get it now. I've been enjoying it. I don't like all the because there's usually a couple songs in it, so I don't always like the music that's in it. But the show itself is just it's funny. And the other television thing that didn't bleed over from the previous months. American Ninja Warrior started a couple weeks ago. They had their All Stars competition, and then they had the Red Nose Day, Celebrity Red Nose Day special, and just this past Thursday, Thursday, was it? Or when, I think it was Wednesday night, so it was still in May the 30th. Was the first episode of the new regular season, and they've added a second warped wall to the end of the course, and they got some cool things going on. They lowered the age limit to 19, so getting some new blood in, more new blood than they usually get in. My wife and I we love American Ninja Warrior. It kind of inspires us a little bit to try and better our physical condition. But yeah, it's just so cool. If you've never seen it, check out this season. We really enjoy it. Music that I've been enjoying a little bit in May. I haven't listened to a ton of stuff, but I did discover a band I hadn't known about before. Well, these are all bands I hadn't known about before. Every once in a while, I'll go on Metal Injection's site and look at their new releases and start checking out some things. So the first one from that is the band Amorphous. It's a metal band, and I had seen in the description of the new album or something I read about them that they use saxophones and stuff in their music, and I haven't heard too much metal that uses saxophones. So that intrigued me, and I listened to the new album, and I really enjoyed it. The new album is called where'd it go? I clicked on the wrong thing. Queen of Time is what the new album is called. It came out a few weeks ago, and I really dig it. I've listened to that, and I made a playlist of their stuff, and even some of their older stuff I was really getting into. So I've been really enjoying Amorphous this month. Next thing is also from Metal Injection, new release post. And the band is called Alkaloid, and the album is called Liquid Anatomy. Again, it's a metal album, but it's kind of different than anything I had heard. And I haven't listened to it enough to be able to describe it really well, honestly. And I'm maybe not that good. I'm definitely not as good as James Chatham at describing music. But yeah, I listened to the entire album. I listened to it a couple of times, and I was really digging it. It was kind of different than some things I have heard in the past, so I was really enjoying that. So that's Alkaloid by Liquid Anatomy, and I'll put the album cover artwork up here. And the next thing that I checked out and have been enjoying comes from James Chatham. He does music recap videos, and I have more than I need to check out from them, in more in-depth anyway, because I'll tell you what I do, and I know James will probably see this. So James, this is what I do with your music recap videos, is I will play it on my television and have my laptop open on my lap with Spotify open. And when he mentions an album, I pause and I look it up on Spotify and I listen to a track or two. And if it intrigues me, then I will make a note of it in my phone as something to go back to and listen to more fully later. So that's what I do with James Chatham's music recap videos. Is I try and check out everything that he mentions, because he mentions. He's big into metal, but it's not all metal that he mentions, and he may be into a more eclectic mix of stuff of music than even I'm into. So I find a lot of new things and new things I haven't heard before through his music recaps. So this one is the band is called The Wonder Years, and the album is called Sister Cities. And it's kind of pop punk album is the best way I can describe it. He does a much better job in his video of describing it. But it caught me off guard because the first few albums were like black metal, and I marked a couple of them down to go back to, and then I listened to the first track of that, and it just caught me off guard with these kind of pop melodies to them, and I really listened to the entire Sister Cities album, and I really dug it. Now I went back and started listening to their first album, The Upsides, and I wasn't digging that first album as much, but I really got into the Sister Cities album. In fact, I kind of want to listen to it again as I'm talking about it right now. Games, we went to our friend's house in Ohio for Memorial Weekend, and we spent most of the weekend just playing board games. So, what we played this game that I've played a lot because it's one that we own and my wife and I really enjoy. Sometimes it's tough to get other people to play it with us because it's one of those games that sounds super confusing when you first try to describe it to people, but once you get playing, it's really actually quite simple. The game is called Elder Sign. It is a Lovecraft mythos game, and you get a Lovecraft creature that you have to do battle with. Tabletop has an episode on this game. This is how I discovered the game. And then you lay out you lay out 6 cards that are places to go, and then it's a cooperative, so you each play an investigator, and then you move your investigator token over to the card you want to try and complete, and on the card are a series of dice rolls that you must complete in order to beat that card and gain the trophies of that card so that you can purchase elder signs, and sometimes you win them off the card, but you need to collect a certain number of elder signs denoted on the monster card to defeat the monster before the monster completes their doom token track and awakens. Once the monster awakens, you have to do battle with the monster. And except for one monster. When one monster awakens, game's over. You lose. And that's usually the monster that we play. It's Azathoth, and that's who we usually play with when... because you're supposed to randomly pick a monster, but if it's people who've never played the game before, I will always use the Azathoth, because then you don't have to go into the battle mode and start trying to figure that out with new people. But it's a really fun game. We really enjoy it, and the more people we can try and introduce to it, so that we get to play it more often with more than just her and I, the better. Because we really enjoy playing it. The other one, we actually played this one a couple of times while we were down there, and it's Forbidden Island. It's another cooperative game, and you have these island cards that you lay out on the table, and the island is sinking. So together you have to collect 4 treasures and make it back to the helicopter before the island sinks, and you can't make it off or collect all the treasures. So you have the island tiles have 2 sides, one that shows that it's underwater, one that shows that it's fine. And you move around shoring up tiles that are underwater, and then if a tile's underwater, when its respective card gets flipped, then that tile and card get removed from the game. So as you go, tiles start getting removed from the game, and if you lose both of your tiles where you can collect a certain treasure, you lose. If you lose the helicopter tile, you lose. It's one of those games with multiple ways to lose and only one way to win. It was designed by the same guy, by Matt Peacock, who is the same guy who did Pandemic, which I talked about in my last video. And it's just a fun, quick game. It only takes about 20 minutes to a half an hour to play. So it's just a fun cooperative game that you can play when you don't have a ton of time, or early or late in a game night when you're just getting things going, or everybody's brain is starting to get fried and people are getting tired and you just need one more quick game. So it's really cool. And I haven't gotten too far into it, but what I've played of it so far, I've enjoyed. I've only played 55 minutes of it, but on Steam, Project High Rise was on a daily special for like $2.99, and it's a game I've been wanting for a while, so I went and grabbed it. And I haven't gotten too far into it, but basically it's a management game, kind of like in the Sim City kind of vein, but it's just a high-rise building, and you basically are the property manager of it, and you build floors and rooms and offices, and you try to bring in tenants to make rent and keep the tenants happy and increase the prestige of your building. And it's just one of those types of games. I enjoy those, and so far this one's been pretty decent. Like I said, I'm not that far into it yet, but I do definitely want to get further into it. And I have a podcast to talk about that I've been listening to a lot of lately. This will probably only appeal to a very select few of you, but I want to mention it anyway. In my personal life, I am trying to get back to coding, to computer programming, to try and kind of get further into a career that I have a degree for, and finally try and advance my career. And I think programming and coding is going to be the path. It's the path I prefer to take with it right now. And but I haven't coded, in a long time, and I wasn't that deep into it. I mean, I learned what I had learned in my classes for my degree, but I want to delve deeper into it and learn a ton more. So there's this podcast I discovered called Code Newbie, and in the podcast, the host Saran just talks to a developer who's sometimes very recent in their job, or somebody she knows that has been in the industry for a while, and people recommend people to talk to her. And it's just her talking to the person about their coding journey and what how they went about it, what advice they have for new people, and it's been keeping my motivation up to delve in. So that's Code Newbie podcast. If it sounds interesting to you, I highly recommend it. I've been really enjoying it. Anyway, that is it. That's my May favorites video. And thank you to all my subscribers. If you're new here, welcome. I am happy to have you. Everyone, let me know in the comments if any of this stuff you dig, or if I've introduced you to some new things. I'm always glad to do that. Glad when I'm able to introduce people to new things. If you're new here and you want to make sure you see more from me, hit the subscribe button so you're always sure when I post new videos. And I will see you all in my next video.